What is up, my brothers and sisters? Welcome to another one. Today, we're going to talk about the crazy shit that happened with Rampage Jackson's son, Quentin Rampage Jackson. That's a badass name, right? Quentin Rampage Jackson. Um, that's a good motherfucking name right there, man. I tell you, like for a wrestler, for a fighter, it's a cool name. But his son, Raja Jackson, um, decided to punch some dude half to death. An old guy, by the way, an old veteran, which is not it's not good, man. It's not a good look. I don't know if he's been arrested yet or not. I think he probably should be arrested. I mean, he should be arrested, like no doubt. Like you can't be doing this. You can't be doing stuff like this. And of course, looking back at it, the way he reacted, the dumb shit he was saying, does he need psychological help? Yes. But also at the same time, I think a lot of kids nowadays need psychological help. Like, this doesn't surprise me personally. You know, I just don't like the cowardness, the cowardly way that this guy acted. And the way he acted, in my opinion, shows premeditation. It shows cowardness. It's just that's what I really want to talk about is how cowardly he was about it, because he could have done something when the incident happened before. Because those of you that don't know, I mean, you probably already know by now, but he got hit over the head with a can by Psycho, um, which is the guy who's getting slammed and punched out in the floor right here in this picture. And Psycho thought that he was part of the crew or something, or he thought that he was going to be playing a role, and that's why he was, kind of building up to that. And he thought that he knew what was going on, right? And listen, if you grew up on wrestling, you know what this is. You don't have to act dumb, because I feel like I know people that put themselves into situations where they know that they could go get in a confrontation, and they act like they're brand new, like they don't know what's going on. This is why when I see stuff like this, I don't necessarily believe that Raja didn't know what was going on. Okay, because he had a guy with him that was supposedly his wrestling trainer or whatever. And the guy with the cowboy head, I know you guys seen him. And he knew Psycho. He didn't like Psycho for some reason. So he could have been setting him up too. That's another rumor that's going around. But my thing is, that guy should have been organizing everything and saying, okay, we're gonna go in here right now. We're gonna talk to these guys. These guys are gonna do something or try to build up the fight. So this whole thing that we're doing right now, it's just for show, right? Okay, and then none of this shit would have happened probably. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm pretty sure that Raja knew what was happening. Because even I knew what was happening, and I'm not even part of it. I'm like, oh, they're doing a wrestling bit. Why? Because I grew up on it, and because I played with my friends like a regular kid growing up. You play fight with your friends. You act like you're wrestlers. You grab a can, throw it over the head. You act like you fall down. Like everybody who's ever grown up as an American knows what this is. Let alone somebody who has a trainer that's with him walking into a place full of wrestlers. How do you not know what's going on? How do you not? That's my question, dude. But okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that he didn't know. And the reason I say this is because I know guys like this, and I'm not saying he's like that, but I've seen it too many times where people go into a place knowing what's going on and they act like they don't so that they could get into a real conflict. Okay, they do it when they go to mosh pits. They try to get into a real fight in there. There's always that one guy. Just you're gonna see them. They're like predators. You're gonna see them in the corner, scouting the place first, right? Looking for a victim. Once they catch a victim, they sneak over and they get in the way of a punch, so they can have an excuse to attack you. It's the same thing that one guy, what's his name, who went to, he went to a, is this one white guy who went to a place with a gun. He was expecting to get confronted, and he was expecting to shoot somebody. He put himself into that. That's what a predator does. He puts himself into situations where he knows there's going to be conflict so that he could get his shots off on somebody. These are things that happen. I've seen it happen. I know how these people work. When I mean these people, I don't want you to think that this is a racial thing. It's not. Because the guy I just talked about, he's white. Okay, I just forgot his name. But the left sees him as a lunatic, and the right sees him as a national hero. And it's just the divisions in politics. To me, if you go to a place with a gun looking for trouble, you're gonna find it, which means that you, my friend, are a predator. That's what it is. Okay? And this is what I kind of saw this attitude with Raja, because you knew what you were gonna do. You had a trainer. If you had a trainer, that means that you are in the wrestling game, and you have to be in a wrestling mindset. But somehow you weren't. Somehow you were in a mindset of, who can I let off on? All my anger that I have anger issues with my daddy. I have anger issues with the world because the world treats me right. I can't punch the world. I can't punch my dad because my dad will beat the shit out of me because he's a true martial artist. How can I sneak a guy? Because you had an opportunity when he hit you. You know what? Let's fight right now. Let's do it for real. Nah, I don't like that, right? Something like that. But no, he waited until they were working and they were pretend fighting to slam him hard as fuck and then proceed to punch him 23 times. 23 times. He should have responsibility for it, of course. He should be punished for it, of course. But the Federation should also get punished for it. I'm sorry, dude, because look, the ref should be fired. Number one, the ref, right? All of his friends, it almost seemed like all of his friends were setting him up to do this. Not Raja, just his friends of Psycho. They all just stood by and just looked. Here's the thing, guys. If you're not familiar, if you're going to get a bouncer or a security guard or a ref, all of these types of people that are contingencies, plans, and people that are there to keep security, they have to be familiar with violence. They have to be familiar with violence. They have to know how to apply violence. They have to know how to do violence. They have to know how to think like a violent person. If they don't have these tools and they're not constantly on when they're on the job, then don't contract them. And if even better, if they're not like that, fire them. Because this should not have happened. All right? Now I'm going to be honest. I didn't see any signs of this happening for real until he picked them up right here. When he picked them up and I saw him up in the air like that, I knew that he was gonna slam him hard. Okay, I knew that it was gonna happen because the just the way this looks, this doesn't look like he's gonna slam him softly. There's just too much momentum, too much power gonna be. I don't know how I know, but I just know that this here, just the way that he's gonna slam him, it's not gonna be good for him. So this is why I'm saying that you gotta be familiar with violence, guys. And I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything, but I've seen shit happen before. I've seen how it goes down. And when I saw this, that's why I picked this particular frame. Because this is how long it would have taken for me to know that something was going on. Okay, it would have been better if I knew beforehand. I guess the first warning would have been when he got hit over the head and he got mad. And I was like, okay, he's gonna try to do something. Okay, he's in the plan of trying to instigate a problem so that he could have an excuse to hit somebody. Okay, if you see somebody like that in a crowd, or he joins your group, and he starts acting like he don't know what's going on, or like, oh no, chill, or whatever, like something like that, you already know that guy, he wants a fight. He wants to instigate a fight so that he could maybe pull out his fire weapon and do something, or, you know, punch somebody in the face or get in a fight or something. He is mad, and he's looking for an excuse to let his shit off. Okay, so right off the bat, you keep an eye on him. The thing about this guy, the thing about Raja, is that he came to a truth with Psycho. Psycho apologized. They shook hands. It looked like it was friendly. It looked like it was just bygones speak up bygones, right? Then he gets online and the people start egging him on. You got to do this. You got to do that. No, fuck that. Get him, right? Then he calls his dad, and his dad says the same thing. You a bitch. Right? Now, an adult brain would take these things with stride and would be like, you know what? I'm not going to let people control me and fuck my life up. And not only that, you would probably just brush it off and be like, man, this is stupid. I'm not going to, you know, go to jail for this shit. But for a young mind, young minds are very easily manipulated. You know, and I think the guy's like 22 or something like that. I don't know. My point is, it's very easy to manipulate people that are young. Okay. This is why, by the way, the school system was invented, to brainwash people. Yeah, that's why it was invented. It's like, people think that they go to school for educational purposes, but I mean, not really. Most of the things that I learned from Google and from life. Just good old life teaching you is how you learn most things. This is why back in the day there was no schools. Back in the day, if you wanted to be a wrestler, you'd go to a wrestling teacher. He was like, oh, it's that guy. I'll be your apprentice. You're gonna be sweeping the floors and mopping the floors and cleaning the restrooms, and I'll teach you. And then you can teach somebody else, and then yada yada yada. That's how it goes, right? That's how you would learn shit. Oh, I want to be a boxer. Well, guess what? You gotta go pay a boxer to teach you how to be a boxer, or an apprentice of a trainer or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It was passed down through the people that you want what you wanted to be. Okay, it wasn't no, you have to go to a university and or you have to go to a school from an early age, be taken away from your parents. Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they take you away from your parents at an early age? To brainwash you. To brainwash you. You know, you got to get them early. You got to get them fresh minds to mold. and to tell them, be a soldier, be a follower. Don't get out of line. Because if you get out of line, you're going to be a retard. By the way, that's what they do. If you question too much, if you ask too many questions, or if you're a get out of line, because everything in school is in lines. Everything is in square lines. They line you up like soldiers. They put you in line to go drink water. All of these things, they're very soldier like, right? Um, Very militaristic. But if you can't follow those rules, and if you can't play the games that they're putting in front of you, they take you out of the regular class and they put you in a special class where there's a circular um table rather than a rigid squared setting. They give you a more circular, more unorganized setting. Yeah, that you go to a special ed class, you'll see that. You'll see that the classes are set up differently. Yeah. And the windows are open more. You can see more of the outside. And you sit in a circle instead of squares and lines. And you start wondering, well, why is that? Why is that? And not only that, but the teacher goes around talking to you one-on-one, and then chilling with you, and y'all play games. And when you start thinking about it, but that's more indicative of a regular human. So being a regular ass human gets you called names in this system. I know I'm deviating, but what I'm trying to say is, young people are easily manipulated. And you really don't get a real backbone, in my opinion, or a real mindset until you're about, to be honest, to you're about 30 something, like 30 plus. Right? That's my opinion. Before that, I feel like all throughout your 20s, you're still trying to figure shit out. That's just what I believe. But yeah, man. But the thing is, like, Raja, man, I do kind of feel for him, because I do know that he has mental health problems for sure. But part of it is just life, and him being young, and him being easily manipulated, and probably him being in the wrong business, because you don't have the temperament of a wrestler. To be honest, you don't even have the temperament of a fighter. Some people say, oh yeah, this is how a fighter should be. I don't think so. Maybe now, in today's day and age, you believe that, because that's what we have. We have Mike Tyson, we have Rampage. These guys are psychos, right? But in the old days, you couldn't be a fighter if you didn't have your mental correct. You couldn't do it. The psychological aspect of the martial arts has been stripped down from the martial arts, because it's believed to be too magical, or too spiritual, or too oogly woogly. But the thing is that those things are necessary. There's a reason that the martial arts had those things. It taught you how to calm down in these types of situations, how to breathe, how to listen, how to shut the noise down. You know what I mean? Some people can't do that. I get that. I understand that. But this is why these things were in place. The martial arts doesn't have that no more. The mixed martial artists should take away the martial arts part of it. They should just say mixed fighters. And that would make more sense. Because there's no martial arts in the mixed martial arts, in my opinion. There's nothing but the creation of psychopathic soldiers. And if you don't give a psychopathic soldier, like if I had a guy like Raja in under my command, I would give him specific instructions. This is why Mike Tyson lost his shit when Castamano died, because he didn't have a general anymore. He didn't have a guy pulling the strings on him. These guys need instruction. They need an alpha to keep them in check, because they're not. Trust me, bro. These guys are not alpha. Because people think that these types of guys, the guys that do these types of shit, are the alphas. They're not. The alphas are chilling, bro. They're just sitting down, looking around, scoping the place. These guys answer to the alpha, if there even is an alpha. But these guys answer to the alpha. A real alpha is cool, calm, collected, aware of his environment. This is the muscle. That's what this guy is. This is muscle. And you got to keep this guys close and release them only when necessary. The thing is, this guy had nobody. In fact, somebody did release him. If you check the tapes, there's a guy with the cowboy hat, and he says give him a receipt. Which, by the way, this was not a receipt. This shit was a life sentence. He almost killed the guy. The guy was choking on his own blood and his teeth. He almost died. If you look closely, he was struggling to breathe while he was on the floor. So there's a whole lot of things that went wrong here, man. But it's life, bro. It's life. Now, when it comes to Raja, he should definitely face some jail time, in my opinion. And he should get some help. And the thing is, guys like this, it's very hard to help psychologically. You're just going to have to give them something to do. And keep an eye on them. That's just the way it is, man. Just people don't know how to deal with guys like this, and it's because people just want regular people with them all the time. Like, oh, you got to be regular. Like, some people ain't regular, dude. Some people are just not. They don't function the same way, and people got to understand that some people are different. Like Mike Tyson, like Raja, Conor McGregor. Like, you see Conor McGregor, he's chilling. And then all of a sudden he just, he starts saying all kinds of weird shit, jumping on top of tables, hitting old people upside the head. Like, this is the type of guy that you give them an assignment, like a dog. And they'll do it for sure. But, it's crazy. Well, anyways, once they get older, like for example, Rampage, you see Rampage, he's calm now because he's older now. And he's more experienced, and you see him, he's chilling. There's a little demon inside of him still, but he's able to control it now. He's able to subdue it now. So anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope that Psycho is okay. I hope that he recovers. I hope that Raja gets the help that he needs and gets the job that he needs. By the way, the career that he needs. And I hope we learn some lessons from this, guys. Like, we need people that know violence in positions of security. Because if we keep putting these refs that have never been in a fight, or refs that have never been around violent people, you're going to continue to get results like this. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes for wrestlers. Wrestlers should be accustomed to real violence. Stop getting these wrestlers that just want to play fight. In Mexico, a lot of the wrestlers that pick up professional wrestling, they used to be boxers. They used to be MMA fighters. They used to be actually real combative people. and they use that to go into professional wrestling and do that stuff. But here in the US, anybody could just do it. You know, they just get in there and just do it. You know what I mean? So anyways, guys, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you guys later.